Дорогие друзья, мы переходим к нашему второму докладчику, гостю из-за границы. И перед его докладом хотелось бы вам напомнить, что у нас есть возможность синхронного перевода. Вам нужно зайти в App Store или Google Play и установить там приложение, которое называется Speakus или Speakas. И, собственно, ввести цифры или QR-код. Вот здесь они висят на столбах. И, собственно, через ваши же наушники слушать синхронный перевод, если вы не очень хорошо знаете английский. Мы приглашаем следующего докладчика. Его зовут Хуан Сиапессони. Он является соучредителем агентства The Electric Factory Group. И он расскажет нам кое-что о размерах нашего мира. Пожалуйста, Хуан.
Hello, hello.
Juan, you're welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hi, good morning. And thank you for the introduction. I don't have the remote control for the... I think it's there. So how are you? Somebody told me, they told me you have a translation, and in case I'm gonna try to speak slower in English. Okay, I wrote my slides in Russia, so if there's a problem there, just let me know, just raise your hand. And I just want to talk to you about a little bit about myself, why I'm here, I guess, and how big is your world? Okay. Where do I need to? Oh, that's my world. I'm here. This little yellow spot here is my country, 3 million people, and I guess that's yours. So it's like, you know, when I started to do this 20 years ago, I founded my first company, and I started to do great, and everybody was telling me like, oh, if you were from the States or if you were in Europe, you will be huge. And actually, I started to understand that huge is a perception, and you don't need to be from Russia, from Uruguay, or from the States to do something big with your life. So I've been struggling all my life with this until I understood that it depends how you see things. So I'm just going to leave you this 3 minutes video that changed my life and the way I see things, and the beginning of my journey as an entrepreneurial guy. Do we have audio here?
It's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you...
Yeah.
The Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
So we are in a lot of changes right now in our industry and around the world. And when I saw this video, it changed completely my perspective of life and what I want to achieve when I founded my company. I came from a wealthy family. I was studying architecture because I was planning to be the next architect of my family business. My mom and my parents, they divorced. And I figured out when I was 19 that actually I was just following what they want me to do. So I quit architecture and I get rid of everything that actually I have from my family. So I stayed a few days on the street and some begging money and everything, and then I collect $500. And with that, I started my own company. It's called The Electric Factory. Since then, everything grew, and we own now 6 companies, and we have accelerator program, we have educational platform, and we have offices around the world. We have 250 people. And since then, I understood at the beginning that maybe the purpose of my company was to make money and to have a business, and then little by little, I understood that the only reason why I had a company is to be, for example, in Russia, giving a conference to you guys and meeting new cultures and just enjoying life instead of winning an award, which I won, or being in a PR release or whatever. This scale or perspective of scales changed completely the need that I have for success. So success for me is something different. So we are, as I was saying, we are in a very, very unstable industry and unstable moment of our life. So I got some rules that I want to share with you based on my experience. This is not thoughts. This is actually things that happened to me, and I will be more than happy to spend all day with you showing examples and experiences that I lived, because that's exactly what I want. I want to have a big life. So I brought some rules to you about about be comfortable with uncertainty. So the first one is be the industry and not an opportunity or the opportunity in it. When I decided to start my own company, it started as a digital production shop, but it was in 1999, 2000, and I decided to have an internet company where, in a moment where there was no internet in Uruguay. So I personally installed the first wireless antennas in the rooftop of the buildings to build the first grid of internet in Uruguay. So actually, I tried to build a business on something that was not exist. It was not there. So since then, I was very comfortable building something from scratch and new instead of making a business of something that already is created. So that gives me a lot of relaxing feeling that, you know, it's like I'm building something new and I'm not doing this for business. I'm just doing because I want to do something. I want to be the first guy doing something, and then others come jump in. I tried to be acquired many times. I said no, so it was never a production deal, hourly rate deal, where we have talented people and we say like cheap hourly rate worldwide and we become like a production hub or something. No, it was more like a trying, if I'm going to do my own business, let's do it my way. I don't need to follow rules. I'm going to create my own rules. So actually, fuck everybody, and I want to do everything what I want because it's my fucking company. I don't need to follow anybody. I want to do whatever I want. So that gives you a lot of, you know, like a relax that you are not, you can do whatever you want because everything is okay, because you are the boss, you know. So, but I see many, many times people who really want to do exactly the same thing others are doing, and it makes no sense. Why you having your own company? Go and get a better salary. You don't need to take care of people, and because you're actually not doing something worthy. So this for me was very important. The fact that I have this key moment where I get a fight with my family, and I started from scratch, and I left architecture. I was in the ashes. I didn't have any money. I begged for the bus ticket, and that's going to be my parachute for all my life, because I've been in the floor. I had anything for granted. So if I fell, I'm gonna stand again. So if you're gonna do a business, or if you're looking for something new, do it in the worst possible way. I mean, with, you know, just go for it. And if you do it from there are many things that are gonna happen. Anything that you do is gonna be better than the one than before, because you didn't have anything before. So even a little piece of income or a new client, a single client, it doesn't matter if it's a big one or a small one, is going to be better than none. So actually, it's great, you know. So it's always, all the time, start from scratch, from zero. And if you do it, you're going to be so self-confident, because you know that if you lose everything, you're going to be able to do it again. And sometimes I see kids or young people in their 20s that they don't even have a kid. They don't even have a family to raise. They don't even have a baby to feed. And they are worried, like, come on. I mean, you don't need to feed a family. You don't need, I mean, come on, jump. It's your moment to do something really, really disruptive from scratch. If not now, when? You know? So it's really pissed me off when I see that people don't do things because it's not everything yet set it up. And then that's exactly the point. I mean, start from scratch and from the ashes and the worst possible way. So if you go to history, most of the greatest things that happen exactly after a breakthrough or something really, really bad, and then sun arise. This is something I do all my life, and that's why being electric and the electric factory, and I did all the time changes with my company. I have a magician in my creative team once. I have a social media and media company that I sold it. Then I have retainer fees. Then I decided to get rid of retainer fees because I prefer to be a lover than to be in love. To be married. So I don't like retainer fees. I don't like I prefer to have a relationship with a client, like a project by project thing, instead of having a retainer fee that you all the time need to, you know, I like that kind of, but we try both. It's not that I'm doing this because it's the only thing I try. No, believe me, I tried everything. And that's part of our ADN of the company. We tried absolutely everything. We are hacking all the time what we have. And if we start to get comfortable with what we have, we change it right away. Because that's being electric. If it's not that, so it's not the electric factory. And actually, I always said that the day that someone can tell in one word what the electric factory is, we are over. I mean, I am over. Because when I founded the company, it was a company that sells product. Then it became a platform, and now it's a movement. So everybody want to just go to the electric factory from Latam to do things, and we have clients now. For example, we are doing things in Munich and in Orlando and in Caribbean. I mean, everywhere, because we deliver things. We are not stuck into something. This is, for me, very important. It's like another way to feel comfortable with, and certainly, is that I mean, sometimes we expect things from clients, we expect things from others, and if you don't give the first step and you don't try something first, nothing's going to happen. So it's terrible. Even when you fall in love with someone and you wait for her to call you or whatever, no, call her. Tell her you like her right away. I don't know, wait, don't expect nothing, because it gets you anxiety and it's definitely not helping. And that works exactly the same with companies. And again, I'm telling this when we were 5 guys with $500 taking a bus to run our own company in a garage, installing antennas, and I'm telling exactly the same thing now that we have global clients and we're doing a lot of things. And for example, to get an idea, this year we get MTV Video Music Awards finalist, we get an Emmy, we get I'm launching a movie on Netflix this year. So there are a lot of things we're going on right now, and believe me, all of those things happen because I didn't expect someone to call me to ask me for a brief to do that. Just things that we just proactive do, and we give it to the client, and the client, okay, let's do it. So sometimes we're just waiting for the brief or from the problem from the client instead of go and approach a client with ideas. I think sometimes it's because the client has their own agency and okay, I don't believe in that anymore. I think anybody can propose ideas. It's just a matter of the better idea for the client. So for me, it doesn't make sense to have a single vendor. So again, remember the parachute and everything. So the advice does not exist, and the reason why it does not exist is because you were from the ashes, you are a creator, you are innovator. So I have this feeling that it doesn't matter what is in front of us, we're always going to be able to create the next step. So it's not that I'm going to, what I'm going to do next. As we started from scratch, and all the 4th rule before I was talking to you guys, it's like, it's okay. I'm going to get nervous. It's actually, I know exactly what is ahead. If I know exactly what is ahead, it means I'm not innovative or I'm not disruptive. So exactly what I want for my life and for my company is actually not to know what is going to come, because I am the creator I want to be a creator. I don't want to be an adopter. I don't want to follow rules. I want to create the rules because I decided to create my own life and to create my own company. So rules are mine, and I want to just decide where my path is. This is a very interesting thing. There was a poll where we asked CEOs of different companies around the world, if they were the CEO of the world, what would they do? So with this matrix 2 by 2, and you have the next 5 year time and space. And 99% of the CEOs of the world, of different companies, they're thinking about solving problems within the next 5 years and in Earth. And actually, there are 3/4 of that question that nobody's taking care of. And that's because we're all the time trying to reach our goals, our KPIs, in the fiscal year and in a 5 years mind, and that's exactly the opposite about the first video I show you. So when you start to create goals that are far away from 5 years, you don't get anxious of actually results right away, and the only way to achieve them is to transcend through others. So if I define a macrocosmic objective that I know I'm not going to live to see it, the only way that I'm going to live to see it is through others. So that's why it's so important to define, to inspire, and to create a team that even if you're not there, they're going to continue with your legacy. And we together, we can do something big. And sometimes people don't pay attention to space. I was in Uruguay with It's an astronaut from Russia, Sergei. He was the guy that spent more time on the International Space Station from Russia. Sergei, I don't remember his name, but we were just talking that space is not just about exploration, and it's also about mindset, I can't imagine someone that spends so much time on the International Space Station coming back to the Earth. It's like, you know, when you live in New York or in Moscow and you go back to your little village, it's like, you know, you need to, so can you imagine being and seeing the Earth from outside and then coming here is like, so this kind of techniques about thinking of visionary thinking and space exploration and understand that we are just a blue pale dot changed completely our dreams and the way we live in our life. It changed completely our need to immediately success or post something into social media. No, because it doesn't matter if you won the one Grand Prix at Cannes or you make a movie or it's not big enough. It's never going to be big enough. So the bigger your dream, the more relaxed you're going to be. Because you know you're not going to achieve it. So just relax. So I don't know how it's here in Moscow, but in Latin America, people are a little bit lazy. And that's why, for example, some countries are, you know, are kind of, they have the potential to become big economical, powerful countries, and they, oh, I mean, you know what? I want to dance. I want to go to the beach. I'm going to just walk 8 hours. And sometimes they just want to work for their needs, and they just do what they think it's enough for the client, and because actually the market doesn't need it, and the client maybe neither. So, yeah, I'm just going to do the homeworks. And every time you do the homework, you're wasting an opportunity of doing something great, something that you can tell your grandsons, you can tell your parents, you can tell your son. And so don't waste that, because it's important to have a liquid life. As Bruce Lee said, if you pour water into a glass, it becomes a glass. If you pour water right from there, it's gonna really hard. It's gonna feel hard on me, and it's gonna hurt. But if you pour water here, it's gonna be soft. It's gonna be nice. So the key here for every company, for any human being, is to be as liquid as possible, not to be defined. I remember when you were young and your parents said, "What you gonna be when you grow up? Are you gonna be a lawyer, a journalist?" Why? Why I need to be something? Why can't be many things? Why our agency or our production company needs to be good in one single thing? I don't believe in that. That is so stupid, because we are good in many things. So there is this thing that mentors and investors tell you, hey, no. You're thinking too wide. I mean, just focus on one thing. You need to be good in one thing. Shit. No, that's not a good thing. That's definitely not a good thing. Because if you do that, you're not going to have a wide life. And at the end of the day, it's not about it's not the length of your life. It's the width of it. It's the surface of your life. It's the experience. So I'm 39 years old, and I know I have a bigger life than many people. And just because I am all the time into exploration, discover, making decisions, making my life wider, because I want to tell my kid and my grandson everything I did. It's like a Big Fish movie. And sometimes I see people that they work in silos because they're doing great, they're making money, and even if it's the boring work and then just good at one thing, they don't. I mean, I really don't agree with that way of living. And I'm really pissed of the old-fashioned way to think about human beings and companies, that they are good for one thing and to follow, and I strongly believe that you can be good in many things. I did many things, my company do many things, and that's exactly the point. So I want to show you a couple of things that we did, that they came from that little country and they became global. And it's not advertising piece of work, but it's just all the circle. Because in the electric factory, we have a prototyping center. We have one of the biggest fab labs in LATAM. So we have an educational platform. We have a film and post. We have digital production. And we have an AI social listening tool. So this is the table pong. this was just a little idea that one entrepreneur came into our office to do. We created a prototype, we built it, then Atari got contact with us. We raised money, Kickstarted, almost $500,000. And now we are producing it. Jensen. So thank you. So all of this happened from this tiny country, Uruguay, and the first prototype cost $10,000. So the guy from Seven Nation Army singer just contacted us, and they buy in this stuff because in the Hollywood and everything. So again, I don't think it's a matter of where you are. It's a matter of doing things. If you deliver, you have higher chances to succeed. I remember I was in the New York University Tisch giving a conference, and I was full of students, and they were listening to me, and they were looking at me like, oh my God, you do so many things. And I said, yeah, why, you don't? Actually not. Why? Oh, because we're in New York. And then I said, but I am in Montevideo, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, but New York, you know, it's harder. Why? Because we are scared to fail, and we are scared that because if you fail in New York, it's like everybody's gonna know. So I started to understand that actually being in Uruguay is great because if I fail, nobody's gonna figure out. I'm not showing you my failures, I'm showing you my successes, but actually I do every fucking single week something new. This is another project that we have, and last go. So this is a project that we did with music, and so basically what we did, and that's it. So what we did is, this is a project that won South by Southwest this year. We won with this project. But yeah, the other one is actually Candombe, and it's just laser cuts, 3D printers, a little bit of coding, and we are doing music, and that guy, and that is our office, we create like a world tour of Candombe around the world. He was in China, everywhere in the world, with something we built, and we share our culture. And it is advertising. It is, I don't care. I'm just happy that we are doing these things and promoting our cultural to the world. And it's something that sometimes you don't do because you want to fit an idea or a client for that. And I don't know, you don't need a client, just do stuff, and then you brand it or not. But if the worst scenario, you did something you can share with your friends and family. So just a short amount of time, but thank you for listening, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Juan.
Yeah.
Ну что, есть вопросы у кого-нибудь? Окей. Можно на русском, мы попробуем перевести. Можно на английском сразу.
Okay. I think I will speak English.
Great.
Thank you. I have a question about your architectural background. How it helps you with your cases?
A lot. It helps me a lot in terms of composition and visual composition, and I think that I get a lot of sensitive way of looking to things and understand if something is not right where it is and change it. But maybe I have that already inside me. I don't know if it's architecture was the reason, but it's definitely a great career. But if you ask me what to do now in terms of studying, I will recommend anybody to study any administration or business class, and then after that you have those skills, you go for a PhD or MBA into any other discipline that you may like. But I think that the business development and business strategy and the economical point layer is very important. So the shorter the career, and then you jump into what you like with a PhD or an MBA. I'm a professor for 20 years, and I love it, and that's definitely my recommendation for my kid in 10 years. Yeah. Somebody else?
Хорошо, спасибо большое, Хуан. Еще раз. Ну что, у нас первый перерыв, а в 12 часов мы ждем всех вас для очередного доклада. Спасибо.